It is overtime here again at Old Favorite Friday, and I am here with Bill McFee, my partner, one of the owners here at Barrel of Monks Brewing, and my Belgian beer aficionado. Bill, anytime you're available, and your time is very valuable, we understand, but anytime you're available and you can come in to talk about a Belgian beer, I want to get your thoughts on it because
thank you.
This is your thing, right? This is your baby.
It's truly one of my loves, that's for sure.
I call you the North Star of Barrel of Monks Brewing when it comes to doing Belgian beers, and this beer we're doing today is Maudite from Unibroue. This is their double. I have to say, this beer has been recommended at least 3 times in the year and a half or so that we're doing Old Favorite Friday. And I have not been able to do it because the 4-packs are no longer distributed in Florida.
That's a shame.
So I've looked for it. I've told people, hey, listen, once I can get my hands on it, we'll do it. And then, sorry to pull this off screen, I found this mix pack that had a bottle of Maudite in it. So I only have one. Bill and I have to share it. But we only have one bottle of Maudite. We had to share between the two of us, which is a shame because this beer is absolutely fantastic. Bill, I love doubles, probably the most underappreciated Trappist style. What are your thoughts on this beer and doubles in general?
Well, first of all, I think double is such a great style because it's an amber, typically it's an amber, dark colored beer, and yet it's typically only low to medium in alcohol, usually malty, and usually very drinkable. And those styles to me, all those characteristics to me just come through with, that's what I want to drink. So,
well, I mean, and this is, a lot of people get scared by darker colored beers, and this isn't,
it's really more of an amber beer.
Yeah, amber in color, amber to brown is kind of what we usually classify these as. This is dry as a bone.
Yes, it is.
This is just dry and drinkable. It gets you a little bit of candy sugar kind of flavors going on in there. Tons of malt flavor, tons of complexity. But the drinkability of a beer like this, as opposed to something like a quadruple, which when made well can be quite drinkable, right?
True.
But they have a little more sweetness, a little higher alcohol content. This is a completely different world. It is dark. It is a Belgian Trappist ale, but it is completely different than a quad.
Yeah. Well, it's a Belgian double, but it's not a Trappist ale. But just to...
I'm talking about the style.
Oh,
the style of double.
Yeah, it's an Abbey ale.
Thank you for
sorry.
No, thank you for
just nitpicking. But,
very important that Bill make sure he hits the right.
Yeah, Trappist has a very
time.
Specific meaning.
Yes,
and I hate to get nasty emails from people.
So, this double, which is an Abbey ale, which is similar to other Abbey ales, drinks very, very different than other Abbey ales. And this brewery in particular, Unibroue, one of the pioneers in doing Belgian styles in North America?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. And I've enjoyed their beers. Fendemon was one of the early triples that I could get my hands on regularly. And I loved that beer. Little anecdote, I went up there one time in Quebec trying to get into, in Chambly, I think is the name of the town, trying to get into the brewery. And despite pulling strings and everything, couldn't get in to see them. They just don't like tourists coming in to see them. But I have loved their beers for a long time, and I think they continue to excel in doing the Belgian style.
Well, you've been doing this brewery thing for a long time now. I think now if you go up there, you have a little more cachet. Maybe you could get in there.
You would hope so.
Maybe we can make some phone calls. You mentioned Le Fin du Monde. We've done Le Fin du Monde on Old Favorite Friday before because it is incredible beer, and it's one of the beers that's available in this pack, but also one of the beers that's more widely distributed for them. There are so many beers from Unibroue that I absolutely love. I would say that to style and for quality reasons, one of the best as far as your whole portfolio of Belgian-inspired ales. And it's a shame that down here in South Florida, we just don't get these beers as much.
I know.
But, I mean, just ageability, beers like this, absolutely fantastic. Food pairings. Bill, any things that jump out of your head when you think about a double and food pairings?
I personally would think that a fairly light dish would go well with this. I don't know. What do you think? I hadn't really thought about pairings with this beer. But
I think you can go multiple ways with it. Our double, Abbey Turno, I just paired with a kind of almost like a beer cheese kind of burger that was done for the Boca Burger Battle, and I like that because it was kind of medium body it was rich, but it wasn't super rich and over the top, and I feel like that kind of medium body beer goes well with it. The malt flavors really amplify some of the fattiness of the burger, and I just thought that would work really well together, and it did. We had a chance to try our double. Now our double's a little bit different than this.
It is.
I think our double's a little more fruit forward.
It is.
Than the Maudite, which it also shows the great range that just because you've had one double doesn't mean you've had them all.
Absolutely.
Just like IPAs. You would never think, I've had one IPA, I've had every IPA in the world.
Of course not.
No, there's so much variation. You can do so many different things with this. And a really important aspect of it is just because you've had an overly sweet double done by maybe an American brewery that doesn't do them in a specialized way, doesn't mean everyone tastes like this. This is a little bit more authentic.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this one is a very good example of the style. I think there's a nice, first, as you said, a nice malt backbone. These tend to be maltier beers. It's fully fermented out, so it's dry as a bone, as you said, which keeps it very drinkable. And then there's a nice spiciness in there. There's something, and I'm sure it's all coming from their yeast strain, which they protect very carefully, by the way. They protect their yeast strain. And as with most Belgian-style beers, it's all about the yeast.
Yeah.
It's all about the fermentation, and that's what makes this beer special, I think, is their yeast.
I've gotten to conversation with people over the years because of the fact that we are a Belgian-inspired brewery, and people say, I don't like Belgian beers. And they say that as a blanket statement because they've had like 7, and
Right.
they were all American versions of the style, and they all tasted
Right.
like banana and bubblegum. And you don't realize that not every Belgian beer tastes that way. And this is the perfect example. I don't taste banana and bubblegum in this beer.
Nope.
This is spicy, phenolic, right?
Yes, it is.
With tons of malt flavor. Great as far as we talk about food pairings. Just go get it. If you have a chance to go drink a Maudite or get any of the beers from Unibroue, we highly recommend that you go pick those up. Get this beautiful mix pack that I have over here that I will not lug in front of the camera again. And let us know what you're thinking about this beer. For those of you that have suggested this beer over the years, I'm so happy that we got a chance to do this one for you guys. And we'll see you next week on Old Favorite Friday. Please poke around, like, subscribe, do all those cool things. And we'll see you then. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.